Hello and welcome. Let's take a look at some cryptocurrencies for today, Friday, the 23rd day of June 2017. Welcome. My name is Derek. I'm going to go over all the main ones again and go over a new one that you haven't seen on this at the end of the video. But all the risks, all the rewards, any decisions you make, they're your own. So you have to accompany your own risk versus your own reward. The more research, analytics, the more you do, the better off you can be. And there's not much to go over when I look at stuff like this Bitcoin chart. Same will be true with Ethereum. Small sideways consolidation, pretty much a pause day, at least up to this point, as it still is riding the north end of the 18 average of highs. All of the things I've talked about still remain the same for the break of either or. Ethereum, moving on to that, it's about the same in that it's just doing a bunch of nothing in the sideways movement. What microscopic volatility. It's hanging in there with the 18 average lows, obviously still in this further extended sideways consolidation. The cross within the Bitcoin charts, more of the same. It's below the band, but still within supporting its previous resistance level in a sidewards manner. ETC is hanging in there within this 18 average band. I was talking about on the break above this resistance, how this thing looked pretty good, ready to go. So far, it hasn't lost its momentum by any means, as it's in this correctionary mode right now. And then breaking above here, it'll bring yet another great setup going above here, and even more so breaking above this resistance. Breaking down below this support level, we've had the 60 handle a couple times reached before. That's the next potential support area. Within the Dash chart, it's keeping its nice little setup. The smiley or the smiley face or the bowl shape, however you want to look at this at. It's pretty much 3 o'clock in here, and I'll be looking more for bullish behavior when it gets closer to 2 o'clock, meaning that this is sort of like that. Anyway, it just means that it's got a nice lift pattern, how the 18 average is rising, this high which matches this one. Of course, been tested. It's been doing some nice little support amongst this area that when it leaves this band, watch out, you could have some nice moves, sort of like in here. Next up is Litecoin, LTC, and it continues its sideways consolidation, moving ever so much closer to this correctionary phase of the 18 average. And the more sideways it goes, the more stronger the resistance and support levels will be, albeit this area in here has only had one test. There's been a couple tests of this lower number in here. If there's further consolidation, then I'd be looking first at what the roughly 61.8% down area would be, which is somewhere around this area in here. And then any breaks of resistance, you got the previous high test, and then of course breaking that, new highs, or at least previously seen highs. This is the weekly chart where if it does break this barrier, you have the summertime high of last year in at a little over 30. And then around 40, you had this high in here as well as some potential areas. And this thing is a very volatile chart. My suggestion, or I'm not going to say my suggestion, how I'm playing Litecoin when I'm going long is I am very strict in ensuring that my sell orders get filled when the pumps or the rallies happen, and that I do not buy anything unless I don't even know if I want to buy back if I get any rallies. I'll just wait for good setups. I do like how this is breaking the 18 average from this move here, but man, there's going to be a lot of wild rides. Webbot has talked about that to be the case, so be very, very careful with it and keep your eye on it. That's what I'll be doing anyway with the Litecoin chart. Within Ripple, there's really only a few ways I can approach this. This is XRP. And not so good things have been stated about this within the Webbot, but good opportunities for moves to take place along such. And this support level has been huge. And how far could it go? to the downside if it has downside room. And I think pretty decent that I don't think I'd want to be any part of a buy or really any north of this area. You could say, well, this previous level, well, there's not much of a difference between here and here. That if it's going to breach this, it's going to go down decent ways. And I'm looking at a logarithmic chart. Not many people do. And people will be saying it's the end of the world most likely and everything. And then it'll just shoot back up and at least come to here. I'm also in a situation within this how I'm looking forward to show momentum on two different levels. Number one, resistance has been established. Come back to the support. That's all happening. On a break of 12, somewhere around here, a very small position. And then if any other better position could come on a break of 14, because that's the most biggest of the levels, I would think, then I might add another position hoping for a move of this nature. But I want bullish setups to accompany such. Right now, that is not the case. ZEC or Zcash we are looking at, and continue consolidation with more further move within this 18 average, more sideways consolidation. Again, another test of this band from in here, and as a lot of these markets do, they correct price through, they correct through price and or time. And it's been a lot of that up move, correction, and right now we're in a stage of a correctionary mode. NXT is in a correctionary mode as well. Very, very clear support level. A little bit of a downtrend mark as well. Breaking down this support level, this is where it pretty much is the last place it came from. A little over that 4 number, just an area where you might look to put a buy order for I want to buy on the cheap. And it's in this correctionary band, so pretty much leaving these resistance area fields should be an interesting setup for further gains. Switching to Monero and this bull or this smile. I don't know about this pattern, what to call it. Very volatile moves to say the least. And a little bit of an extended down move in here. Also very slow on the rise as it's hugging this 18 average of lows, albeit it's in a rising trend. There's a decent clear resistance level at around the 20 handle with this line in here showing an uptrend line. So an ascending triangle with, of course, a lot of these key previous highs in there as well. But I think you'd have maybe a decent size break in here. But the whole point is look at the size of this move. Look at the size of this move. And, of course, the rally in March that brought it up a decent chunk. This thing has huge upside gain potential. But you got to be very careful because the amount of people, at least in June or the end of May and this point in here, who were able to profit take were very few. So if you have sell orders in here, then that works out great in the sense that it's better than doing nothing because now I can fill those sell orders back in or just leave them aside and take the profit. But just something to keep you noticeable, or just something to notice that if it has these types of wild moves and you like these kinds of swings available, then this chart's for you. This is the US dollar tether against the US dollar. Really, this is supposed to be pretty much at 1. And it represents the inapproximate area of the US dollar. And back in here, when these moves were happening, I was getting very, very concerned within the use of the ether, or not the ether, but the tether rather. But this, to me right now, if you ever want to get out of cryptocurrencies in any kind of form, and you don't want Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, maybe you think that everything's going down or you don't know what's going to go up, then all I can even consider for myself, and really anyone else, because this is all I know, is to buy US dollar tethers. And then you're in cash, and then you can buy back after the market goes down if you think something like that is going to come into play. I'm still finding and trying to wait for a way I can get something like this with the silver gold markets. I hear they're coming. I even hear they're out there. I just don't know where or how to get them. I would expect that the exchanges like Bittrex and Kraken and Poloniex and such would have them available. Now I don't play on Kraken, and I no longer play on Poloniex after they did not successfully handle a ether deposit situation, but that's neither here nor there. And yeah, so this is the US dollar tether. I'm going to go over one chart in which, or a code you probably haven't heard of, and it's going to be a Dash coin. And no, not the digital cash, but the Dash coin, which is currently trading in around 1,700 Satoshi, not 17,000. They have decimals on this. Only two places I can find that trade this is HIT BTC, which is what this is from, HIT BTC, as well as Cryptopia. And I like the interesting, again, the bowl-shaped formation, the happy face. This one almost takes the cake as far as how beautiful that type of setup looks. You have this area of resistance just taken out today. And for myself, I first played this rather in here. And I no longer could play when this rally happened because I wasn't going long for a great move at that time. Heck no. What I noticed was, man, these up and down moves that I see, but a light bulb came in my head. Wow. If it keeps doing that, why don't I just put buy orders in at the bottom end of the range and sell orders in at the top of the range? It's like so easy. And that's what I did. And it was like fun. It was a buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. And I would consistently be buying down here and selling up here during this entire run. It was fun. It was fun. But you know what happened? Well, here I sold. It went up, but I got it back though. And then I sold here again. And it was over. I no longer played anymore. Now I did get back in. And now I'm playing not just to play the same game that I did before, but this time play for what the chart's showing. And that is for at least a play to this previous high. Because it was doing the same thing in here. You can notice that it does with the low volatility moves. It gives you the opportunity to. I should have just kept going on this. I just kind of gave up, and I guess today I stopped playing on this site, so that then playing like it's a video game because it kind of is for me. So I stopped playing on this shortly thereafter, and I'm like, you know what? Even in here, what's the bottom end of this range? You say, okay, so that's like what, 85. Top end in this time was like 10. That's like a 15-point difference, 20%. Why? I mean, I guess the bottom end technically was down here, but still, nonetheless, it's doing the same thing again now, where the bottom end has been, because it looks like it's changing now, has been around 12, 13. The upper end has been at around 15. Thankfully, because this market's breaking out, I'm not selling everything here because I like this bullish formation, and I'm just going over different types of strategies and which I look at, because when I first started trading this, I figured that the entire world of cryptos were going to be in bear markets, sideways markets against Bitcoin, and I might have to trade these babies in a downtrend or in a sideways market to try to gain any Bitcoins whatsoever. So that's really how you trade sideways markets. And as far as the bullish level, we'll see how well this breakout, how this does, how well it does, because it seems every single one of these currencies, when it ends any type of consolidation pattern and moves to a breakout stage, it can have some wild moves. And quite frankly, this here, 7 to 19 in one move, that's about almost triple. So where did this start off at? At about 12.5. So to think 30, that's just my guess just by looking at the numbers. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. I hope you found this video helpful, insightful, entertaining, or whichever word you want to use to describe it. And have yourself a great day and weekend. Bye-bye.